Youth peer support is an emerging service, and the youth peer provider workforce is rapidly growing. Youth peers provide a unique addition to how we support youth and young adults living with behavioral health challenges. Clearly defined job descriptions, roles, and responsibilities of youth peer providers are vital to an organization's ability to effectively offer youth peer support. This work is key at program startup and continues through the life of the service. Here, we break down specific examples where a youth peer provider, Max, and their supervisor, Kat, continue to reinforce the unique role of a youth peer provider.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm a youth peer provider. It's like being a superhero with the power of relatability. I love my job, helping and supporting youth with their experiences and sharing our similarities and how we have and will continue to face difficulties.
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm Max's supervisor. Our agency started hiring youth peer providers a couple of years ago. We are excited about the response from the youth we serve who get to work with a peer. Overall, adding this new youth peer workforce to our organization has been positive. Oh, there have been bumps, but generally everything is working really well. Through training and practice, I have become a stronger supervisor for Max. We are both prepared to discuss and resolve challenges that come up.
Can I be real with you? One of the challenging parts of my work as a peer is managing the complexity and deepness of each relationship I have with each youth. My peer training and my supervisor remind me that it's important to remember and stay true to my role and responsibilities as a youth peer. Several times over the past year as a youth peer provider, I've had to work on making and keeping my relationship with youth within this role.
But I need a ride home. I don't feel safe trying to figure out the new bus route. You're the only one I trust.
Rose, we've worked together to make a plan, and now it's time to try it out. I'm not allowed to give you a ride home, which we have discussed. I'm happy to walk you to the bus stop and help you make the right connection. I'll even text with you when you get home. And then I'll see you on Tuesday, and we can keep working on your goals. That was so hard. Rose was really anxious, and figuring out the way to her dad's new house was definitely stressing her. But I knew she could do it, and I knew that I couldn't and didn't need to give her a ride. I learned in my youth peer support training about the difference between supporting someone and doing too much for someone. My job is to support and prepare Rose for new challenges, but in the end, she needs to navigate them herself so she can learn new things. I'm so proud of Rose. She's amazing and brave in conquering her fears. Rose's success keeps me passionate about being a youth peer provider.
I'm proud of Max. In natural friendships, Max would likely offer Rose a ride home. In Max's role as a youth peer provider and as an employee of our agency, he knows he's not authorized to give rides directly to a young person's house and isn't able to offer transportation in his own vehicle after work hours. This is a reality of Max's position with us, and we both know that it can create challenges.
Kat has been super supportive of me in navigating these situations. The first time I met Rose, I explained my role as a youth peer provider. During this meeting, Rose asked if I could drive her home after a group meeting. I shared that I was not able to drive her directly to her home because transportation isn't part of my role and my agency doesn't allow me to drive young people home. I was able to use this discussion to identify how I could work with her, to learn about different transportation options, and we could practice different routes together. She said she understood. I was clear and honest about what my role as a youth peer provider is. Rose and I started our relationship with each other based on honesty and transparency, and it's been that way ever since. Sometimes I need to remind Rose, like I did in this scene, that I couldn't give her a ride. I was able to remind her that we had already planned for situations like this. It was a perfect opportunity for her to try out her plan.
The honest relationship Max is able to set up with Rose helps her feel confident in reaching out to Max. You can hear how much Rose trusts Max as she asks him for help. Rose isn't as likely to share the same concerns with the rest of her support team and rarely circles back to share how things went. Max is supporting Rose and becoming more open in communication with the team. Sometimes they come together to a meeting to bring up a concern or a win. Her comfort in communicating with Max has helped us to celebrate her wins and make stronger plans for her future.
There have been many times Kat has supported me in staying true to my role of youth peer provider. Working with Lane hit me so close to home. I remember when they first told their grandmother that they identified as transgender. This was so rough on me. I've been in Lane's shoes. I really wanted to offer them a place to sleep just for one night. I could also hear my peer support trainer in my mind. I can't be the solution to all of Lane's challenges. It's not my job to solve the problem, but rather to walk with Lane to find their own solution. My heart was hurting for Lane. This had already been a really tough week for them.
I remember how tough this night was for Max. I'm available via phone or text to Max at any time. That night, Max texted me that he was being asked to offer more support than he could to a youth. Max was asking for a reflection point. I reminded Max of the decision tree tool we have been using since our last continuing education session. It's a quick diagram that helps Max, or any other peer, map out the various options available to them and reflection questions that best fit actions for their role as a youth peer. That's all Max needed, just a brief prompt from me that this tool might help him.
I did a really quick decision tree process before I texted Lane back. This helped remind me that the best support I could offer was helping Lane navigate to a resource that would help them find a sustainable housing situation and support for working things out with their grandmother. And I remembered that I needed to take care of my own health and safety. And that means making sure I have a boundary between my home space and my work as a youth peer provider. Hey Lane, I'm really concerned about you. I thought it might help to hear my voice as we talk. Remember when we first met that I shared that I'm not here to fix everything for you? Instead, I'm here to walk with you as you work towards your best solution. That's still true tonight. I'm not able to let you crash at my apartment tonight. It's not because I don't really care about you. It is very important to me that I help you to identify resources that are sustainable. My couch isn't a sustainable solution for you. Let me help you navigate resources that can lead to something sustainable.
I know, Max. I'm sorry that you always have to remind me of this. It's just, I really need a place to be tonight, and I don't know who else to reach out to.
And Lane, I share my apartment with my sister and my friend. It's important to my housing safety and stability that I respect my own space and the space of my roommates. Just like I remind you to do when you're using your resources as well.
But what do I do right now? I'm out of options.
Okay, let's start with a phone call to the National Runaway Safe Line. Would you rather call or text? I've done both, and I'll talk you through what to expect before you place the call.
And how did this all turn out, Max?
Lane got a place to stay in a youth safe house for the evening. The next morning, we checked out the drop-in center to find out what resources there were offered to help Lane talk to their grandmother. And we found some resources for her too.
And Max brought to our agency leadership team his concerns about the number of young people identifying as LGBTQ and how much time he was spending navigating resources for them. We checked out our data and we were all seeing an increase. We just hadn't noticed it yet. Thanks to Max, we started a new education effort to offering training and resources to the families and caregivers of these youth.
My superpower of relatability, coupled with training and support, gives me even more superpowers. As I navigate tough situations as a peer, I use the power of vulnerability, coupled with always explaining why, to create and maintain authentic and truthful relationships with youth. Having conversations that keep a relationship open rather than shutting it down is another superpower I use. Every day, I'm adding to my toolbox to be an even stronger peer support.
I help Max establish, communicate, and commit to his role, which helps him stay well and resilient and help him work within his role as a youth peer support provider. This includes having policies about not responding to your work phone overnight and using tools like the decision-making tree during tough situations. They are all really important aspects of practicing self-care for yourself and staying true to your role as a youth peer so you can keep using your powerful skills of relatability as a peer. In the end, our team is so much stronger for having Max and other youth peers a part of it. Youth peer providers offer a unique avenue to deeply connecting and supporting the youth we serve.